Welcome to Chatting Shit with Ostique, the podcast series where we chat about shit with inspirational people from all walks of life. Today we are joined by the wonderful and inspiring Sophia Haden. We hope that you enjoy this conversation. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here with us today. Hi, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. A little bit stressed. Technology is not on my side today, but enough of that. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you came to have your stoma?
Hi, I'm Soph. I'm 18. I'm currently studying physiotherapy in Manchester, but I'm from South Wales originally. So I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in March 2023, and the medication kind of all failed then when I had my second flare-up in June. So then they decided to operate then.
Oh, wow. So that's relatively kind of quick. Was that your first flare-up that you'd had?
So March was the first flare-up I had when I was diagnosed. Well, I had kind of a little flare-up, or what I'm assuming was a flare-up in the October before, but I kind of narrowed it down to my periods because it sorted itself out and I didn't really know, what was going on there. And then March, I was admitted to hospital, so they diagnosed me with that, and I came out on infliximab then. So I was having infliximab infusions every 6 to 8 weeks. I can't quite remember. And then in June, all my symptoms started getting worse again. So I was admitted again, and they tried IV steroids, they tried infliximab again, and none of them worked. So they decided that the best option then was surgery.
And can you tell me, had anyone kind of taught you through what that kind of surgery would be? Like, were you aware of kind of what a stoma was and kind of the steps you would take before then, or was it kind of almost kind of proposed that surgery is your last resort?
Yeah, so, well, when I had it, it was kind of like an emergency situation. My bowel was on the verge of perforating, all that fun stuff. So I feel like I didn't necessarily have much prior knowledge just because it all happened so quick. However, my stoma nurses were fab. Like, they came before the operation and they were like, look, this is a bag. They marked me where they were going to put it. They made sure that I was okay with where it was going to be in terms of what I like to wear and stuff. So that was fab. But yeah, I didn't really know too much about it before, really. I knew that some people had bags, but I wasn't really sure what it was until I kind of did my own research and my nurses came to speak to me and stuff.
And like, how did, like, before the surgery, did that kind of impact your mental health or not, as the case may be?
Before the surgery, when I found out I was having the surgery, I was kind of like, okay, I remember one night I was lying in bed and I felt awful physically, and I shut my eyes and I genuinely thought I was gonna die, like fully, not even exaggeration. Like, I closed my eyes and I was like, okay, I may not wake up in the morning. Like, I'm laughing about it now, but at the time I was like, I actually think I'm gonna die because I was in so much pain. It was awful. So I was kind of that low in terms of my physical, like the physical aspect of it. Anything to make it better. I was desperate. So when they said that they would do the surgery, I was like, do it as quick as you can, because I literally feel awful. But it's more so like after, I was so happy to have it done when I came out of hospital originally. Partially I was high on steroids, granted, but I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And then, like the next months then afterwards, I was like, oh wait, okay, I do have a bag of shit attached to my body. But so it's been very up and down afterwards. But in terms of before, I was very like happy because I was like, okay, this is actually gonna save my life, because the medication isn't working. So
because you have spoken, you've written an amazing blog for us, and you've spoken about your mental health, and that you have had good days and bad days following your surgery. And I was wondering, maybe perhaps you could kind of tell me a little bit more about the kind of support that really helped you get through those worst days.
Yeah, so I think for me, it's mainly the fact that this bag it saved my life. I was feeling so awfully physically. You know, as I said, I was just lying in bed that night, genuinely thinking I wasn't going to wake up. You know, in terms of support, my girlfriend's been great. You know, she's very, well, supportive. But like, she's very like, right, come on, you know, don't let this ruin your life. She's very, you know, like, what's the word? What you see is what you get kind of thing. So she was like, right, this saved your life. Don't let it ruin your life. You know, this is how it is, type of thing. My aunt also had a stomach bag for a period of time as well. So she had bowel cancer, I think, in lockdown. So she ended up having a stoma bag for that. So she's been there for me. And having someone who's actually physically been through it, being able to give you that support is amazing. Because obviously there's people who haven't been through it and who are like, oh, you know, it's all going to be okay and everything. But having someone who's physically been through it, that support is so much different. And the nurses have been amazing. Literally love my nurses. Sometimes I wish I just have skin irritation around my stomach just for an excuse to go and see them. But yeah, it's just mainly the fact that like that did save my life. And would I go back to how it was before? No, definitely not. So that I kind of try and keep that. Like, don't get me wrong, I do get my bad days. Like if my bag leaks, I'm like, are you actually serious? Really? But you know, the support has been great.
I love that. Something else that you touched upon was how social media has kind of helped, but can also be really positive and negative. And I was hoping you can maybe kind of share some of that positivity that you've seen on social media.
Yeah, so I think social media is definitely a place where we definitely see the negatives very often, and a lot of people do speak out about the negatives, and that's fantastic because it can definitely be a place, you know, full of negativity for body image and whatnot. However, when I found out I was getting my surgery, so I think I found out I was getting my surgery on like the Wednesday or something, and then they operated on the Friday, so it was quite quick. And when I found out I was having the surgery, I was like, okay. So I chatted with my stoma nurses, you know, just to kind of get the idea of what was going on. But I still wasn't entirely sure what it was going to mean for me and my life, because a lot of people that I had seen who had stomas were a lot older than me. Because I was 18 at the time. So I was, you know, I'm still quite young. So I was like, oh, is this something like, oh, grannies get or whatever? And my girlfriend sent me loads of these TikToks and was like, look, there's loads of people on social media. So the first one I found was Stoma Babe, who I'm pretty sure you have done a podcast with. Love her. She's so just like, again, what you see is what you get. She's so like unashamed of it, you know. And I was like, okay, I want to be like that. And then there's this other woman I follow. I can't remember her name for the life of me, but I think she's got like 3 children. She's American, I think, and she does loads of awareness stuff.
Kaya?
Oh, maybe I can't remember, but you know, since being in the community as well, and following you guys, following Crohn's and colitis, there's so many people that speak out about it. And Sam Thompson's sister has just had one, hasn't she? And she's spoken out about it. So just in that way, it's been really, really positive for me to be able to see people like me who aren't necessarily, you know, 50 plus have a similar experience to me. I mean, Stoma Babe's experience was practically the exact same. You know, she had ulcerative colitis, she had a flare up, she went into hospital, she got surgery. That is literally what happened to me. And now, you know, she's got a baby, you know, and it's just really, really lovely to see. She's going on holiday. And one of the first videos I saw of her actually was the video when she's just like, how do you swim with an ostomy? And she just gets in the pool. She's like this, obviously. So yeah, social media has been really beneficial in terms of that. And there's just people sharing their own personal stories and, you know, just being so unashamed of having a stoma. It's really, really helpful.
Amazing. And I suppose when you are seeing sort of more people like yourself, like reflected back at you, has that, do you think, generally helped also kind of just like society generally to become a little bit more aware? And, you know, with that being said, how did you, or have you kind of shared that with friends and family more generally?
To be honest, I'm an open book, right? So literally everyone knows everything about me. I don't have any secrets. It's like, as soon as something happens, you know, like, I tried to keep my driving test a secret for so long. It lasted like a day. And everyone knows now when my driving test is. So it was the same with my stoma. At the start, I was like, oh, I don't think I want to tell anyone, because it is quite taboo. I mean, like, you have your small intestine sticking out of your stomach that does a poo into a bag. You know, it's not like the nicest thing in the world, but it happens. And the fact that people have been so open about it has made me want to be like, oh, actually, I want to be more open about it as well. And that's part of the reason I started sharing my stuff on social media, actually, was because I saw these other people and I was like, okay, well, my biggest thing was I was like, I've got loads of my friends following me on Instagram, like, they're all going to find out and they're going to be like, what the heck? But I've had so many opportunities to speak to different people, and I was on the news the other week as well, just chatting, you know, about it. And I've written an article for BBC News as well. So, but also sharing it has helped me come to terms with it more, you know, like, this is real, this is me. My friends have actually taken it quite well. Obviously, when I was in hospital, you know, they were fab, but obviously they wanted to know what was wrong. So I just said, you know, I'm having a surgery. And then they've kind of found out through my Instagram. But again, as I said, I'm a bit of an open book, so a lot of them knew anyway. Because at the end of the day, it's a part of me. Like, I don't want to have to keep it hidden. Well, the other thing is if I'm at the beach with my friends, I don't want them to ask questions for me on the spot, and I'm like, oh. So, you know, and yeah, definitely through like sharing stuff on my Instagram and my TikTok, it's definitely made me feel a lot more comfortable with it. So and raising awareness, because as I said, it is quite a taboo thing, and as well as that, not many people know about it, you know. I mean, I'm still learning every day. I only found out a few weeks ago that, you know, people get stomas for endometriosis. I had no idea about that until I just assumed it was IBD, bowel cancer, etc. So I'm still learning every day, but I think it is really important for people to get that awareness and to understand, especially that it doesn't just happen to older people, it can happen to literally anyone. I mean, loads of babies have them. You know, I've seen loads of babies come up on my For You page. But my friends have been great with it. You know, a lot of another main worry that I had was going to uni, people following me on Instagram and seeing that I had this bag. But genuinely, no one has said anything like judgmental or whatever. I've had people that I went to school with 10 years ago, that like in primary school, that I haven't seen for ages, message me and be like, just saw your post, like, you're so strong, you're so brave, this is amazing. And I do think that with stuff like this, there's definitely more positive than negative, in the sense of, you know, sometimes you will get people, you know, just be horrible about it, but at the end of the day, they've never had to live through it, they don't get it, type of thing. So yeah, with my friends, you know, it's definitely been a learning curve for me, in the sense of, obviously I've had to adapt to this new life, but they've been great and they never really ask about it. Like, I haven't really had any kind of awkward moments, but I'm also quite open. So if they did ask me anything, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Like, one of my friends has asked me, like, how often do you change it? So I say, you know, every 2-3 days ish. And then she was like, oh, that's less often than I thought it would be. And I was like, well, I have to empty it throughout the day. And she was like, oh, I didn't realize that. So I think a lot of it is just out of just pure curiosity, rather than like just being rude or anything. So yeah.
When you talk about kind of like adapting to kind of your new life, because you have mentioned previously, like you go to the beach, and for example, stoma bathing, going swimming, and I also know that you like to do rock climbing. Was that something that you would have done beforehand, or like what kind of changed on that side of life?
I think I tried as hard as possible not to let my stoma dictate my life, because at the end of the day, I'm me, and I can't stop being me just because I have this bag. And genuinely, it hasn't stopped me from doing anything. If anything, it's allowed me to do more. I'm actually way more confident in my body than I've ever been before, which, you know, for me is something I genuinely never thought would happen. You know, I've struggled with eating and stuff before, and I've always been quite small, whereas now, like, I've put a healthy bit of weight on, and literally I never thought that I would put weight on and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy, like I can't believe I put weight on, this is amazing. So that's one big thing in terms of like my life. I also, yeah, as you said, so I do a little bit of climbing, just like bouldering and stuff. I enjoy going to the gym. Again, would have never stepped foot in a gym. Right? And I had this bag, and there's loads of support, because I was really nervous about it. I was like, oh, you know, what if, you know, I strained myself or whatever. My stoma nurses was like, girl, it's fine, we'll get you a belt. Like, we'll get you a hernia belt, you know. So that was all sorted. I've never been very confident in the water. Like, I could swim to save my life if I tried really hard, but I've never been like, oh, I really fancy go swimming in the sea, you know, I want to race for Britain. I've never been like that. Never, ever, ever. But I do like going on holiday, and, you know, being in the pool on holiday, being on the beach on holiday. And I remember my first holiday after my stoma, so it was in July. So it was literally the month after I had my stoma bag. I was really feeling really anxious about it. And I was like, oh, I've got this bag, you know, still recovering from surgery. Is this a good idea? But I went, had lush time. But I saw this woman at the pool, and she had like one of the diabetes like implants on her arm. And it just hit me. And I was like, well, if she's so confident about that, then surely I should be confident. Because I know obviously they're not the same thing, but in that retrospect, it's like something on your body. And I was like, well, I'm going to get in the pool too. Do you know, like, if she's getting in, then why can't I get in? So I actually think in terms of confidence, it's really helped, which is crazy because I literally have a bag of poo on my stomach and I'm somehow like, oh my gosh, I love my body. But it's definitely helped in that retrospect. And it's definitely allowed me to do more stuff because, you know, I was in a position last year where I was so unwell, I couldn't do anything. You know, I missed all of my A-level exams. I think I only did about 2. You know, I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to university and do what I wanted to do. So by having that surgery, it has definitely allowed me to do so much more. Don't get me wrong, I do get my bad days. Like, I don't want anyone to listen to this and be like, oh, she's so happy all the time, what about me? Like, genuinely, the amount of time, or I've just, you know, just wanted to roll up into a ball and cry so many times, because it is hard at the end of the day. Again, you've got a bag full of poo on your stomach. It's not the nicest thing in the world, but, you know, it has, by looking at it like that, it has allowed me to do so much more than I would have been able to do before.
Sophia, I just wanted to touch on the fact that, you know, you said you're now at university, and I know that you're studying physiotherapy. And I was wondering kind of 2 things about that. One, has your understanding of the body kind of really helped you on your journey? And 2, what's it been like, or have you had to explain anything to your lecturers or in classes, or everything's been absolutely fine?
I'm obviously, it's a healthcare course, so all the lecturers, they know, do you know what it is and stuff. So it wasn't, I didn't need to explain anything in the sense of, I have a stoma bag, this is what it means to me. They've actually been really great in uni. They've got a disability service, so I just got in contact with them and I was like, right, this is the situation, can we have a meeting or whatever? And they've accommodated it so that during exams I've got a 10-minute break per hour, so if I need to go empty my bag or if it leaks or whatever, I've got the time to do that. I'm also allowed access to water, medication, and you know, snacks and stuff in the middle of the lecture, you know, just things like that, that is kind of just allowed it to, well, just to make my life in uni a lot easier. Well, we're currently finishing off doing a bit of cardiorespiratory, so a lot of that has been recovery from surgery. So having been someone who has had to recover from surgery, you know, it's just the little things like encouraging the patient to cough so they don't have, you know, any upper respiratory problems. You know, when I was in hospital, they encouraged me to use like a wrapped up towel around my stomach so I could cough. So I've been able to, I kind of have that background knowledge in terms of the post-surgery recovery and stuff. You know, why they do surgery, what the different names mean and stuff. So that's been quite helpful.
You mentioned that when you got to university, you found the disability services.
Yeah.
Was that something you were aware of before, or did you kind of look into it? Because I think that's, you know, what they offer to assist you is really helpful.
No, I didn't really know about it. I kind of had to look into it because my main thing was when I was applying for accommodation, I wanted to make sure I had an ensuite. Now that's not because I'm high maintenance. It's just like if I have a flat, I don't want to be in a position where I have shared bathroom, and you know I don't want to have to change my bag in shared bathroom and stuff. With people that I didn't really know very well at the start. So I reached out to them, and then I also reached out to, I can't actually remember what I did. I think I may have reached out to one of my lecturers just to be like, right, this is the situation. I have this condition, you know, I have this. And they put me in the direction of kind of the disability coordinator on the course. And then she got me in contact with the service. So I had basically what happened there was I just had a meeting with them. And they asked me what my condition was, how it affected me. So, you know, I said like tiredness, fatigue, losing loads of blood, lots of pain, etc. Frequent trips to the toilet, obviously. So yeah, I had that meeting, and then they kind of suggested, they were like, okay, so would rest breaks in an exam help you? And I was like, yeah, that would be perfect, you know, with my bag leaks. And then they were you hear a lot of, even though it's really, really common, you don't hear loads about it. So he was like, right, so in practicals, you know, we're all touching each other. But he was like, right, okay, we'll put down that if you're in a flat, no one's to touch your stomach because that'll really hurt, etc. So they were really, really, really good with that.
Love that. And I wonder, as kind of like a final thought and a final question I could ask you, something that we do ask all of our guests. What would you say to somebody who has stoma surgery coming up? What could they expect and be aware of?
Laughing, crying, coughing will hurt a lot after surgery. That's not meant to be negative. I genuinely didn't quite realise how much I used my abs until after surgery. You know, everything was painful, but it's the surgery it's going to be. However, I would say if you're on social media, find good people to follow. Follow Stoma Babe, follow all these different people. Mr. Crohn's and Colitis, he's good as well. I can't remember names off the top of my head, but there's loads of them on social media. And just to kind of realise that you're not on your own. And it's also because it's one of those things where, you know, I don't know how to say this without sounding like really bad, but it's one of those, IBD is one of those things where people who have stoma bags don't normally tend to have millions and millions of followers. So if you do reach out to them and you do private message them or DM them or whatever, they actually will get back to you. Because so often, you know, if you message a celebrity or whatever, they're never going to get back to you. But I've messaged loads of people in the community and they've got back to me within like hours, you know. So make yourself part of the community. Join support groups on Facebook. Some of them are a bit questionable in terms of the advice that's put on there. But, you know, it's good just to know that there are people out there like you. And it is tough getting used to it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not easy. It's a different way of living. But I didn't believe it at first. I mean, I was like, I'm just going to be a girl with a bag. I'm never going to be able to change it on my own. And my girlfriend was like, right, in a few months, it will be like brushing your teeth. You'll just do it. And it's true. Like, I didn't believe her at the time. I was like, stop being silly. It'll never be like that. But it definitely is just something you do. It's a habit now. You know, you go empty it, you go change it, whatever. Trying to think what else I can think of. But yeah, just embrace it. It's part of you. Don't let it get you down, and don't let it change your life. Don't let it dictate your life, because why should it? It's just a bag. It's you know, it's nothing. Like, obviously it's a big thing, but you know, it's just a bag. So don't let it change your life. You can still do so much. Like, I'm still doing everything I was before and more. And if you're in the position where you are having surgery, then obviously your condition or whatever is quite serious, and so your quality of life is going to be so much better after having a bag. I would never go back, and everyone I've spoken to the same. They'd never go back to before having a bag.
Amazing. Sophia, you are remarkable. Thank you so much for being with us, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Have you seen the new Ostique skins yet? Ostique skins are revolutionary ostomy pouch covers that were created to make the wearer feel confident, sexy and powerful in all of life's moments. From moments of intimacy to lounging by the pool, conquering a workout or simply heading out to lunch, skins have you covered. Even better, they're compatible with all major colostomy and ileostomy bags. Ostique skins are available in a range of colours and skin tones, and they're made from a revolutionary material that's completely waterproof, high quality, soft and comfortable. Skins are easy to use, even with reduced dexterity, and they work with both closed and drainable bags. Plus, skins are also environmentally friendly and vegan. There are 4 bundles available to buy now, and you can also purchase individual skins. Head to ostique.co.uk to find out more.